What's going on, everyone? Welcome to our Thursday edition of Golf Fitness here at the Upper Valley Aquatic Center. Sean Fitzgerald, one of the personal trainers here. So, like always, go ahead, like, subscribe, and see what kind of information we can start spreading around and sharing, and some other topics that we can talk about. So, today we're just gonna keep focusing on your hips. Last week we kind of talked about maybe a couple issues or why actually hips are important, right? Or why some people might actually have some issues, going on in the lower region, right? So basically, what we want to keep going on is, how to keep our hips, healthy, mobile, strong, things like that. So, we want to keep adding to kind of our little repertoire of, exercises that we can do. So, we want to take a look at, your hips are a mobile area, right, of your body. So, they're not supposed to be tight, right? They're not supposed to only be in one fixed position, right? They're meant to move in all planes, right? Your hip is a, kind of a ball and socket joint, which is extremely important to give us range of motion in all planes, right? Flexion, extension, across our body, open up, things like that, I'll name these terms, right? So we want to make sure that we can actually move in any way we want to go, right? So we need to be able to produce that movement to get us into the swing that we want to be in, right? So, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of torque, a lot of movement, right, coming through because we're twisting, we're turning. We want to be able to move our upper body, keep our lower body still. As we come through, we want to be able to get our hips to, go and face where we want the, general direction of where we want our ball to go, right? Things like that. And then, you throw on, if you don't use a cart and you walk, your hips are going to get tired. Your lower body gets tired, right? You're constantly swinging. If you're in the rough, it's a little, you're a little tougher, especially if your club gets stuck, right? Trying to come through it. And then it just adds a little bit more, and you get a little more frustrated, body gets a little tired, you start getting down on yourself and things like that. So, we want to keep trying to battle and what we can do to, keep helping us stay healthy and going. So, we kind of talked about, doing our hip flexor a little bit, last week. So, basically this one is where, kind of down and half kneeling and, I kind of stretch out and I'm kind of leaning into it, we're hitting this kind of, area. Everyone's motion is going to be different, right? So it's going to be based on, what is for you. If you don't work in a job that, requires a more movement or things like that, and you're stuck at a desk, right? Your hip flexors are going to be really short, right? So that is where we, people that have to sit all day, at a desk or even driving, right? If you drive a lot, you're in that flexed, sitting position, then that's where your hip flexor is gonna kind of start causing some issues, right? Because you're kind of you're not long, you're coming and you're staying short, right? So we want to make sure that definitely hit that, especially before swinging, right? A little pre warm up, in the driving range or before before the tee box or anything like that. Just try to loosen it up. So we kind of talked about that last week, and this week we'll continue on with a couple little bit more areas that we can kind of dive into, right? So we did hip flexor going this way. Well, if you ever open up this way, right, are you able to get your leg from here? There's 45, right, and then I'm coming out to 90. Are you able to open up at all, or is it super tight right here, right? So as most people call it here is your groin, right? That's kind of like, here, say on ESPN, he pulled his groin, and so we'll just, since everyone kind of knows that term or knows the area, right? So we'll just kind of keep it like that. There's your inner thigh, okay, or your groin, right? A lot of people, especially men, right, are going to be extremely tight here, right? Because one, how often do they actually work on it? Not much. Women are actually more willing to do more exercises, your butterfly stretches, your leg raises and things like that. So men, you can do it. You should do it, right? Hop on it to start loosening up your lower areas, okay? So see if you can even get in this position, and then you can easily kind of work in here, and depending, you might be only to go this way, but it's great. You're going to build on it, right? You're going to keep building on it. You're going to keep pushing it, keep working on, because you need to be able to move, right? Like you got to be able to go. You got to be able to go. So I'm here, 45, right? And I'm going all the way to 90, right? Right here, and I'm facing this way, and I'm just sitting into it, and just trying to loosen it up. Of course, in this camera angle, looks a little weird, with my leg, just because of how I am. But make sure you stay, everything stays 90, and I'm just sinking into it, right? And you go as far as you can. If you can only go here, go here. If you can go deeper, go deeper. Like, it's based off of what your body's going to be able to tell you, okay? So, again, very simple, very easy to do. Literally can be done anywhere, right? No problem. A little bit of movement, right? So, that one's not bad, right? So, what if you just kind of come out here, right? And you sink in here like this? You might be able to feel it just in this position, right? Because I'm still hitting that inner part of my thigh, right? So I'm still looking there, and you might feel it just standing here, and that's fine. There's no big deal. Some of you might be able to sit back, right? If you can, great. If you can't, that's your goal, right? You want to be able to start being able to get to where you want, right? Again, we want to make sure we're hitting each side. So, here I got toe pointing forward. You're going to go as far as you can. If you feel it here, just stay there, right? There's nothing wrong with, hey, I'm comfortable. Cool. You don't need to push it, right? If anyone does yoga, right? Certain positions are uncomfortable. Some hurt, right? Some is like, hey, I know my limit, right? It's the same thing, right? With any type of other exercise. So take that knowledge of, say, other classes that you take or you try, and bring it into other areas. Like right here, if this is all I can do, I know my limit, cool. That's where we want to be, right? Again, the more you do it, easier it gets, the more you can, tack on, make it, increase that difficulty level. And that's what we're trying to shoot for, right? So, not bad, a couple easy stretches, all right? So, next one is the one that everyone just loves, right? So, we're going to go in, it's frog pose, tactical frog. There are a couple different names, but, like frog is, your common one, right? So, what we want to do is we're going to get our knees open as far, past hip width, right? And some people are fine with just staying here and then trying to sit back. This might be comfortable for some people, but our goal is to really. So I'll turn this way. So let me put the camera down just so you can see my foot positioning. All right, that's kind of what I'm shooting for. So I'm out here, right? And you notice that my knee is in a weird position. I want to bring that in, right? So my ankle, right? It's the outside of your ankle, right? Your ankle bone, okay, is actually in line with my knee, right? This body alignment is what we're shooting for. And that's going to be the hardest part for some people, is actually being able to line it up. If you can't, we want to work on it, right? Because body alignment is our goal. We want to shoot for it, right? So then we're here. So I'm lined up, and then I'll be able to sink into, our frog position, right? So some are able to just basically, you're able to sit down, and some are able to just be like, what, I'm good right here. This is as far as I can go. And if you don't feel it there, you're going to progress to try to get your chest on the ground, right? It's a little bit of a progression, and you're trying to shoot for just sinking that hip back and trying to you're not going to pain, but you're going to a slight discomfort because you want to be able to stretch and keep going a little farther each time, right? If you go to where you're not feeling anything, then it's not doing anything for you, right? So we want to make sure that we're still going and we're pushing our limits just a little bit, not to cause injury or to cause pain, but to see progress, right? So, tactical frog can be extremely painful to start with, right? Because it is in an awkward position, but it is a great, great exercise to start hammering in on those hips and to work on them a little bit, right? So, 3 exercises right there. You got your little hip flexor, half kneeling, right? Kind of, getting it if you're supposed to sit. Then, bring your leg out 90 degrees, then straight, things like that. Move into a tactical frog, right? All simple little exercises that you can do as often as you want, every day, as many times as you can. The more you do it, the easier and easier they become. And then once you get to a position that you want to be in, right, then you can kind of, come back a little bit and, you might not have to do it every day. If you do it every other day, you might find that your body's already in that position from the start. And, that's where your goal is going to be, right? Same thing with any other program. So, I hope this was, a little bit eye-opening and, another couple exercises to add to the toolbox for, getting into those hips and, trying to help get a little bit more mobile and, and to kind of help your swing. And, it's Thursday, so weekend's almost here. So hopefully, up north, our season's coming to an end here pretty soon. No rain yet, so I think we'll probably get a couple more weeks, hopefully into November. So, hopefully you can get out there and you get to play and, get to enjoy and have some fun in the sunshine. So again, like always, go ahead, like, subscribe, and, good luck this weekend. If you're going out and to play, have some fun, and remember, keep working, warm up before you start to play, right? Just don't try to go straight to the tee box and try to swing as hard as you can, right? Let's try to limit these injuries, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Thursday. All right, enjoy. See y'all next week.